Which expat spot is best in Belize? San Pedro, Ambergris Caye, or Placencia?
Hey there, it's Linda in Belize. I'm back in San Pedro now since the hurricane didn't hit. On last Sunday, I actually came into San Pedro to start a new job on Monday and then ended up leaving Tuesday because of the hurricane that was supposed to hit in North Belize, which luckily it did not, thankfully. Now, when I was flying back to Placencia, one thing I noticed was a lot of the tourists, they were telling me they were going to Placencia specifically because of the storm. And I went over to one of my favorite bars in Placencia, Barefoot, on Wednesday night for Kyle and Eli, and it was way busier than I would expect for this time of year. The great thing about flying back on Saturday was that although our flight to Belize City was fairly busy, the one from Belize City to San Pedro, Coco and I had our own plane. Why did we have our own flight? Well, most of the people were flying back after their week, first in San Pedro, Ambergris Caye, and then in Placencia. I did ask a few of them, since they weren't expecting to visit Placencia, which one they liked better. Their answer? Placencia. This is one of the things I often tell people. If you're thinking of a move to Belize, make sure you check out both, because everyone has different perspectives depending what they like. And for you, you won't know unless you check them both out.
So let's start with the pros of San Pedro and the whole island of Ambergris Caye. First of all, it is very close to the Belize Barrier Reef, and that's excellent if you're a diver or you love snorkeling. You can see the reef right off the island. There's also vibrant nightlife. There's plenty of bars, restaurants, and clubs. I love a lot of the bars here that are over the water. One is Guayos, which has great entertainment, and like tonight on a Saturday night is really hopping, even in July. Other places that you can see are things like casinos and nightclubs, which we don't have in Placencia as much. Events and festivals are also very common. So we have regular cultural and music festivals. The next music festival is actually coming up at the end of July. So the weekend of the 26th, I have a lot of friends coming down from Placencia for this music festival. There is easy access as well to San Pedro because there's frequent flights, which take 15 minutes, and we also have water taxis that take an hour and a half. Well, what about the cons of San Pedro? Well, the first one is it's crowded. It can be very busy, especially during peak tourist seasons. So when is that? Usually starts around the end of November for Thanksgiving and goes up till maybe April. A lot of the snowbirds come and in for the winter and then leave April. Although you'll notice that some of the flight patterns are changing. In the past from Canada, WestJet flew till the end of April. Well, this year it flew till the end of May, and next year it looks like the schedule's into June. On Ambergris Caye and even Caye Caulker, any of the keys in Belize have higher costs. You have to import everything in. So you're going to spend more for any of the goods you buy, as well as dining, and even accommodation can be more expensive. There's also limited tranquility. It's a bustling atmosphere, so if you're seeking peace and quiet, this might not be your spot. There are parts of the island that are very quiet, like way down south, which I really like. But even there, you're going to have to go into town to do activities, get your groceries, things like that. So I have a friend living down south right now that's actually trying to sell her house because San Pedro's just got too busy for her. I've even talked to some of the locals that live here, and they say the same thing. Transportation here is mainly by golf cart. Now, when it's raining, right now it's pouring rain and there's thunder. The hurricane missed us, but still we have a lot of rain right now. I really don't want to go out on my golf cart. If I was in Placencia, I have a car, so I could just run to the car and be nice and dry. What about the pros of Placencia? The first one is that it's very laid back. So if you're looking to relax and unwind, this might be the place for you. The next point is the beaches. Placencia is really known for the stunning sandy beaches, and it's the biggest difference from San Pedro, where you mostly have seawalls along the coast. There's rich culture here too. We have Garifuna, we have lots of different local Belizean culture, lots of cultural events, drumming at some of the bars. It's really nice. Outdoor activities. Well, of course we have water activities and you can go snorkeling and fishing and things like that. But there's also access to jungle excursions and wildlife reserves. Since we're on the mainland, you can pretty much drive anywhere. It's also less crowded, as I already mentioned. There's fewer tourists here compared to San Pedro. Transportation is one of the biggest things I love about Placencia. I have an SUV, and you can also have golf carts, especially if you're living in Placencia Village, where we do have a golf cart just to drive around Naya because it's 200 acres, but it is a lot more flexible. In San Pedro, there's moratoriums on vehicles. You can't really have a car at all, but even golf carts at times have moratoriums. So what are the cons of Placencia? Well, the first one is it's a bit more remote, so it's slightly harder to reach, requiring more travel time. To give you an idea, it is about a 30-minute flight from Belize City, where San Pedro is 15, and the other option is not a water taxi, but it's driving. And you can drive or take a shuttle, and if you take the coastal highway, it's about 2.5 hours to get to the peninsula, depending where you're going. There is limited nightlife in comparison to San Pedro. We do have some bars, but you're not going to see as many nightclubs, and we also don't have a casino. So again, you can get out and do activities such as bingo, trivia, karaoke, all those same things you could do in San Pedro, just less places to do it and less often. Another thing is seasonality. It is a little more here. So because we have less tourists, during slow season, you have less choices. So when a business closes down in San Pedro for a month, you don't really notice because there's so many. Now that we've talked about the pros and cons, I want to talk about who you're coming to Belize with, because that could make a difference. For example, if you're coming to Belize with children, you want to consider the schools. In Placencia, we have schools like PIA and Coastal Education Center, and a lot of them are really good. And I know lots of families that have kids here. However, in San Pedro, I have an interview with my friend Clint, who was in San Pedro and moved back to the US because he didn't want to send his kids to high school in San Pedro. Now, if you're retired, either place might suit you well, depending if you're a diver, where San Pedro might be the better option, or if you just like nice beaches, where Placencia might be the best bet. Now, if you're working, it's a different story. Where is the place that has the most demand for the business you want to start? Or if you want a job, where is the job? I just took a job in San Pedro as an accounting manager. I didn't see any jobs like that in Placencia right now, so my job is requiring me to be in San Pedro just occasionally, and otherwise it's remote. So when you're doing a remote job, obviously you can be in any place you want. For my fiance John in construction, Placencia is way better because both places have lots of building, but he wanted access to materials where he can drive to pick them up rather than having to barge them in. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and check out my playlist on moving to Belize. If you want to check out both locations, I also do Belize tours. And if you have perspectives on areas, make sure you put it in the comments below. Hope to see you soon in Belize.